Well, here's my scenario. I am 28 years old. I am single. I am heterosexual. And I'm in love with a girl who I've been dating for 6 months. I think she's the one. She's a doctor. We both live separately, of course. She's an anesthesiologist, and I think she's great. She pays for half my dinners. But the thing is, and I think we disagree on this, I want to have children someday, and I believe you think that men should never get married, but I truly believe that men should get married.
Well, here's what I said. I said there's no benefit to a man to get married. That's not the same thing. There is a benefit to children if you're married, and there's a benefit to women if they're married. But there's no benefit to men. Now, I agree with, because you could do all the things that you can do when you're married, you can now do when you're not married. There was a time when you couldn't. I mean, there was a time when no one would have sex with you except the slut down the block if you weren't married. People said, you have to wait till we get married. You couldn't have children. You would be a pariah.
Yeah, but I see myself, marrying this woman and her being able to bring in as much income as I do. It's not like she would be financially dependent and all the kids as well, and me bringing home, running out of the house with this.
Well, I'm not telling you not to get married. In fact, you're over 25. What do you do for a living?
I sell. I'm sales.
And that's what you're going to be doing?
Probably.
Probably, or you're not sure?
More than likely.
And what if you don't?
Well, you know the sales nature. I mean, it's kill or be killed. Am I wrong?
Of course. And it's always be closing.
That's right, ABC.
Right.
But what is your argument for me if I love this woman and want to have children not to get married?
I'm not going to make that argument to you. That's where you're having a little misunderstanding with me.
Okay.
There is a benefit to your children for you to be there. That's a benefit. And if I would still get a prenuptial agreement.
I agree with you.
To make sure that things are even. And by the way, if she's a doctor, it's going to protect her as well as you.
Yes.
So you get a
I think that's a big mistake, is the whole prenuptial agreement, and people thinking that's unromantic or something you're not showing the full love to the other person. But you know what? It's practical with the high rate of divorce,
especially in California. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling you not to get married. You're at least over 25. You've given it thought. You're with somebody who has gainful employment. You need to discuss with her before you get married whether she's going to quit being a doctor to stay home and raise a kid. Where are your kids going to be taken care of? At a daycare center? Where are they going?
Yeah, this is another, well, she works in a medical practice, anesthesiology, where it doesn't require as much as hands-on as you might think, like a surgeon or even a pediatrician.
And that still doesn't mean she won't be out of the house.
Right.
Like, who's going to raise your kids?
Mm-hmm.
And you need
to... I agree with you on most of the things you say, is men should get out there, date as much as possible, because a lot of women don't understand, before a man turns 30 and he's, heterosexual, normal guy, he wants to bang every chick he sees until he turns about 29 or 30 years old.
Right. Here's the other thing, though. You should not have any kids until you've been together 5 years.
That's a good point. But 5 years, you think that's a long time? Because women in their, early 30s start to get twitchy about the whole biological.
Well, how old is she now?
She's my age.
You're 28. 5 years, you'd be 33.
Yeah. Time magazine said that doctors say that the egg drop happen, they decrease when they're around 32 or so.
Well, lots of women are having kids all the way up into their 40s and even early 50s now. I wouldn't recommend it, but you need to be together a long time to make sure that you've got the relationship figured out. You two don't even know each other a year, and you're already talking about her like she's your fiancé.
Yeah, but I guess I'm pretty sure about this one.
I understand that, but you haven't lived with her, and you don't know what that's going to be like.
That's another thing, though. I would never, you may disagree, but I would never live with a woman before I was engaged or married.
I don't disagree with that. In fact, I completely agree with it.
I mean, my father used to say, why act married when you are single?
Well, here's the deal. If she is your fiancé, I would move in with her but not have a kid with her.
Yeah.
Because you need to find out if you can stand to be together 24/7. And you don't know that yet. And I'm speaking from experience. I've been married 4 times and divorced 4 times. You think you know now, but you don't.
There is a lot to learn, that's for sure.
Well, that's my point. That's why if you ever formalize this commitment by getting engaged, you want her to move in or you want to move in with her. Preferably, you'd like to move in with her because if it doesn't work out, you'd like to be able to get out of it.
Yes.
Just like that.
And separate property and separate habitation play a big part in that. And usually my friends who say, oh, yeah, I'm going to move in with my girlfriend, things are going to be great, you know, smashingly. It's always the woman who is asking the guy to move in.
Right.
And if they break up, it always seems pretty messy.
Exactly. So, Matt, I'm not telling you don't get married if you want to have kids. I mean, there is a benefit to children to have their dad around. And if you want to raise kids, you're devoted to doing that, okay. But make sure you take all the steps. You have a prenup. You discuss before the marriage who's going to raise these kids. And if she's going to stay home and do it, how are you going to make up the revenue that you're going to lose? And finally, you want to live with her for a period of time before you get married to find out if you can stand to be together that much.
Yeah.
You know, having a relationship is real easy when you got your own place.
It's true. There's a lot of practical decisions I think people don't think through and even, you know, are afraid to talk about.
It could be anything. Like what happens to your porn collection? I mean, I don't know if you have one, but these are the kinds of things people never discuss.
Playboy mag.
Well, yeah. What happens to those? Be sure to talk about that.
Yeah. Do you have a recommendation for a good French Pinot Noir?
A good French Pinot. Well, French Pinot Noirs, of course, are called Burgundy.
Okay.
And they're from Burgundy.
Right.
And there are all kinds of I wouldn't even want to single one out because really they invented the process. But, you know, in San Fran, you've got Beverages and More all over the place. That's a great place to get a good price on French wines and to start trying them.
Great.
And I would recommend there's a Bevmo probably somewhere near where you live. I love Bevmo.
Yeah.
Love it.
There's a great store called K&L right down the street.
I've been to K&L, as a matter of fact. You know what you do? You go in there. If you're near a wine merchant, then you go in and you ask him to help you. Tell him what you're looking for. And what you want is a Burgundy. A red Burgundy that's about $15 a bottle. Start there.
Great.
Move
Jack
up.
Nicholson had a great quote in Esquire saying, there are more women who are single over the age of 30 now than there ever have been in American society. He said, women's liberation has come home to roost.
That's right.
Right.
He's exactly, boy, you know, Jack's a man after my own heart. I'd love to spend an hour with him.
You should.
I'd love to.
You're in the same cities, right?
Well, I live in L.A., and he lives somewhere in L.A., I know that.
Hills, come on, Tom.
You got to get that guy. Got to get a little juice here, for God's sake. Good luck, Matt. Thank you for the call.